Hey everyone, welcome to another game development episode where we're recreating The Legend of Zelda in Game Maker. In today's episode, we are going to cover room transitions, which is when Link goes to one of the edges of the room and the camera slides over to wherever he's going in that direction. Before we get going, I'm going to give a quick update again. Just as a reminder, I have all the assets, game code, any tiles, backgrounds, and sprites that we use in this game or in the development on my Patreon page for free. So the link is down in the description. Go ahead and check that out and grab that material if you need to. All right, to get started, let me show you guys something in The Legend of Zelda that we're going to be talking about. One is the width of the screen of the game and the height. The entire width and height are 256 pixels by 232, which is a correction to my first video where I said it was 240. So it's 232. And that's actually broken down to the HUD here is 56 pixels tall, and the level itself is 176 pixels tall. And that actually comes out to 16 tiles wide by 11 tiles tall. So that's what we're going to be dealing with. The other thing that we're going to be talking about here in a minute when we start creating the rooms is that there's going to be a way that we're dealing with this HUD in a way that it's rendered somewhere else in the room, and we bring it into the view so the player can actually see it the way they do here. And it's going to be called a port. There's two ports. It's going to be this port up here and the bottom port here. And let's go ahead and look at that so I can explain it better. So first, I'm going to bring in some helper images. So I'm going to create some backgrounds, some temporary backgrounds. We'll call it BG temp, and I'm going to load this template right here. We'll open that up. This happens to be 256 pixels by 176 pixels, which is the size of a room. And I'm going to use it as a template in the room to make it easier for drawing the tiles. I'm going to bring in another one called BG temp menu. We're going to load background, and it's going to be this one. And yes, this is the actual menu that you see, and we're drawing it temporarily here so we have something to work with. We'll eventually replace it with all the actual pieces. We're going to click Use as Tile Set, and this is going to be 256 by 176. No, 232, sorry. Click OK. We're done with the backgrounds, and now we're going to create a room. We're going to create a brand new room, call it RM rooms, and we'll go ahead and start updating all this. 1024 is the actual size and width that we want to use. We're going to change the height to 528, change the speed to 60. Let's put the snaps at 16 by 16. Okay, and we'll go ahead and add the background that we chose earlier. We'll click on background, go to no background, but choose the BG temp. And now we have our little guidelines where we can draw rooms. And the next one we're going to do is we're going to go to tiles, and we're going to choose that menu. And we're going to drop it over here on tile 768. You can tell what tile you're on by the X and Y coordinates that show here. And it snaps to the upper leftmost corner. So this is 768 by 0. We'll drop it right there. And next, we're going to go to tiles. Just choose the overworld tiles that we used in previous episodes. And we're going to draw some outlines to rooms real quick. So holding shift and choosing that pink tile right here, I'm going to draw this outline. And let's do that. Let's pick another one. Let's choose the green rock here and draw this outline right here. Getting out of hand. Shift Control right click allows you to delete. Let's choose the blue water for this one over here. And let's see. Let's choose the tree for up here. A little sloppy there. And last, let's use this blue ladder, this stairs, I think it is. Okay, let me clean this up real quick. So we have our outlines to our rooms. The last thing we're going to do, we're going to go to objects and we're going to add the game object. Let's just add it over here somewhere out of the way, and we'll add link to here. All right, so let me explain a few things. We're only drawing 5 rooms, and there is a reason for that. We're actually going to eventually dynamically load every room into this one room. And then we'll render everything here as needed. So we don't need to render the whole level or draw out the whole level, just what we need to. And then when link crosses over to another room, we'll shift over there. We'll draw this room, shift over there, and then we're going to snap it back over to here. Same thing if you go up or right or down. We're going to do that in a later episode. For now, we're just going to get the code that allows the screen to shift along with it. So right now, what we need to go do is we're going to go to views now, and we're going to click enable use of views, and we're going to use 2 views. We're going to use 0 and 1. So again, when I bring this back up, this is going to be one view, which is the actual level, and the HUD is going to be the other view. So that's what we're going to work on right here. So click visible when room starts, and the width is 256, and the height is 176. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing for the port, 256 and 176. So this is the height and width of the room that we want to render here. So, and as far as the port, we're going to start this at y equals 56. Why are we doing that? That's because this port takes 56 pixels, so we're going to start rendering on the screen 56 pixels down. We're going to render this room. Okay, so that's everything you need for view 0. Again, view 0 is the level. View 1, click visible when room starts, is going to be part of the HUD. And so for this, it's still 256, but the height of it is 56 pixels. We'll do the same thing down on the port, 256, and the height of that is 56. And then lastly, where in the room is this view? For the HUD, it's over here. And right now it's looking at 0, 0. So we're going to go to 768, which is this last row over here. And we're going to go down to 176. And that's what's going to render. So if I just click this now and I drag this up as the first room is what loads when you click the green button. This should actually show the HUD. And it does. And right now it's rendering the upper left room, and we're going to fix that in just a second with some code. All right, now that we've got the basic setup in the room, what we need to do is snap the view to where link is and make sure it always stays on the room. So what I mean by that is right now the view is rendering, it's really hard to see because it's small, it's a thin white outline. It's rendering this upper left-hand corner. And there's a way that we can make it go to the room that link is in, and we're going to do all that in code, and we're going to do that in the game object. So we'll close that. We're going to go to the game object, objects game, and we're going to add a new event. Drag the code over. And so something we could do is we can manipulate those views. So right now we're talking about view X view, and we're happen to be dealing with the 0 view. So we'll go to 0, and we're going to make it equal to, and well, actually, let's do this real quick. I'll show you. We're going to be dealing with the X view and the Y view. We're going to set those to a specific value. But what we're going to do first is we're going to create the target. So we're going to say target X view is equal to, we're going to say object, in parentheses, object player X. We're going to get the X coordinate of where the player is. we're going to divide that by 256 because that's how wide a room is. And then we're going to multiply it by 256. Okay, what does that mean? Okay, so when you use the div function here, and we can look at that. Oh, it's going to go into too much detail, so I'll just summarize it. But you can middle click something to look up what it means. But when you do a div, it's going to do this without remainder. So actually, this would be a good time to show the room again. Okay, since these are 256 pixels wide, what happens if I divide by 256 and link is in this first room, it's going to have a 0 remainder. So the outcome of that is going to be 0. And then we multiply it by 256. So the X target is going to be 0, which is what we want. We want it to snap to here. If link happens to be here, which is, right now I'm hovering over 336, it would divide one time. 256 would divide one time into 336. So that would equal to 1 times 256, and that would snap the X to 256, which is right here. And we want that to happen. Same thing over here. If we were over here at 624, where my cursor is, divided by 256 would actually equal to 2. And 2 times 256 would end up being 512. So that's what we're going to do for that. And then we do the same thing for target y view is equal to object player y div, and the magic number here is 176. So that's how tall it is, times 170. I can't see my keys. 76. So those become our targets. So that will snap it to the vertical height that we need based on that. So that's all we need for that. So to just test to see if this works, if it's snapping to the right thing, we can do this. We can make the view equal to those targets. And this will snap automatically as we switch rooms without that transition. So let's test to see if that works. So now it's snapped to the room. If I go over here, it's going to snap to that left room. If I go up here, it's going to snap to that top room, down, and to the right. So now let's add the code that's actually going to make it smoothly move in that right direction. So we're going to add a script. We're going to add a helper script. We're going to go to create script, and we're going to say move toward. And so we're going to create a script that allows us to move towards a certain part of the room. So move toward, and we're going to take in a start where we're starting, an end, and a value. So the start is where are we now? End is where we want to be, and value is how many pixels we want to move every time we do this. So now we're going to create our variables. We're going to say underscore start, underscore end, and underscore val. Start is equal to argument 0, end is equal to argument 1, and val is equal to argument 2. So now we can do some checks to see where we are. So we can say if start is less than end, meaning our x coordinate or our y coordinate, whatever we're putting in there, is less than the target that we want to do, we're going to move towards that in a positive direction. So we're going to return the minimum of the start plus the value, or the end that we want to get to. And I need to put all my underscores here. So basically it's going to return whatever's smaller. It's going to add the start where we are right now, plus however many pixels we said we're going to move. Let's say we said we're going to move 10 pixels. And it's either going to return that or the end. Because if we pass the end, it's going to just snap it to the end. That's what that's going to do. And we're going to do the reverse too. We're going to say else return the max of start minus val and end. So the summary here is you give it where you are, you tell it where you want to be and how fast you're willing to move there, and it will move you towards that. And that's the whole point of this code. So now we can use this if we go back to our game object, go to the step event, and we say move toward, and where are we currently now? Where really in this case, we're going to say where is our view now? We're going to say our view, x view 0. We want to be at that target, and we're willing to move 4 pixels every time. And we're going to do the same thing with the y. Four pixels. So this now, if we play this, you're going to see the first time we do this, because it starts off at 0, 0, it's going to kind of glide over to where we are. We're going to deal with that at some other point in time, but now what you're going to see is that smooth transition between rooms, which is exactly what we want. So we're going to leave it there. That's what we wanted to accomplish today as far as moving, transitioning between rooms. So in the next episode, what we're going to do is the menu. So when I press start on here, having that menu come down, when you press start again, it goes back up. So that's what we're going to accomplish. So hopefully you guys followed along. Again, go to the Patreon page that's in the description below to get the code and the sprites and the background images that were used in this episode. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.